Hello, and welcome to the Embrace Balance, Discover Joy podcast. I'm Amanda Butland, your host and intuitive life coach.
All right. Well, welcome to another episode of the Embrace Balance Discover Joy podcast. Today, my special guest is Camilla Calberg, and she is a business mentor and success coach. Oh, Camilla, it's so great to have you with me today. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Thanks, Amanda, for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
All right. Well, before we dive in, I'm going to ask you my little icebreaker question. Would you mind sharing with us what hobby or activity brings you the most joy and why?
I love that question. I love singing. I truly love singing. I'm just merging into the song and my joy, but my body's just so expanding. My heart is expanding, and I cannot stop moving my body. And I actually been singing for a long time, but then I just stopped because life changed and I couldn't make it work. But I still love singing.
Oh, I love it. Yes. Sort of anything I think in the arts where you're expressive and creative. I just love that. So thanks for sharing that with us today.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna just dive right in. So I know you are a business mentor and success coach. So not just a coach, but also a mentor. So would you mind maybe sharing with us a little bit about, what that looks like for you? Like, what is it specifically that you help your clients with?
Yeah, I'd love to. So what is it that I specifically help my clients with? My clients reach out. This is a really good question, and maybe not an answer that people would expect. Because when people reach out to me, they either have seen me on LinkedIn or attended a free webinar, and they really want to take their career to the next level. And I can help them, but I don't give them the tools like do this and do this, right? I would say the practical tools. What I help them with is to build a healthier relationship with themselves, grow self-love, grow self-respect, de-storing limiting belief, break free from social constructs. And some of my clients, they put on their notepad, they call it therapy. And I'm not a therapist, but we really go deep because we can only grow to the level or extent that we love ourselves. So that's the deep inner work I do with my clients. Yeah.
I love that. That is one of the things I think people don't realize about sort of coaching, right? Is that it's not just about how do I get to this goal from like a practical standpoint, but going deeper as to, what are the false beliefs that are holding you back? What is that, what are those things that are preventing you from getting to your goals? Not just these are the steps that you need to take, but what's behind it that is sort of keeping them small. And I know that is one of the things that you do like to talk about. So would you like to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, and keeping ourselves small.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been there. You can only, he said, I want to share with you, Amanda. You probably know that, but it's worth sharing again also with your audience. We can only take our clients as deep as we've gone ourselves. I, I, I lived it. I've gone really deep with myself. And I found myself playing small in room with, even my body's responding now, with where people play with power. I call it the wrong way. And I felt small, even though I knew that like for years, I worked out from London and I had a much wider business, like, what do we call it, view and understanding of maybe somehow bigger companies would operate. But when I was in room with these people who wanted to be right, I oftentimes did not stay in my power or speak power to truth. So I started to play small. So, okay, we can do that. And I was actually beating myself up after the meeting because why didn't I say that? Because I just knew that what I was going to present or suggest is something that we've done in BP, Shell, and IBM. It's like big companies. And I started to be curious about why did I end up giving my power away to people I didn't see at that point in time. I started blaming people. So it's easy to blame people why I feel angry or why I wasn't promoted or la la la. But that's really about why I allowed it myself to give power away. And it's because I allowed it them to suppress me. I allowed it that, right? That's my lower self. So what's broken within? Why don't I stand in my own power? And how we do it one way is how we do every way. And how we do in one area of life is how we do in other areas of life. And you could replicate that exact experience I had in professional arena, in my personal arena, right? Played small in my personal life. Like that's why I ended up where I ended up with my relationships. So that of playing small, most people or a lot of people think it's good to be easygoing. It's good to, yes, I'm just here and we make things happen. But we do ourselves a disservice. We really do ourselves a disservice. And if we also have kids, we also do. We're not the best role model.
Right.
And we can certainly be in our power. Some people say, can I really be powerful without being aggressive? Oh, sure you can. And that's the beautiful dance to learn, to be powerful and still smile and be authentic. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that little last piece that you mentioned around, if I'm too in my power, am I going to come across as somebody who is aggressive, who maybe doesn't seem like a team player or something like that, right? And so I like that you bring that up, because that is a hard balance, or maybe not. Like, do you want to talk a little bit more about that sort of creating that balance between being in your power, but not necessarily being overly aggressive and seeming like you're sort of trying to run the show?
Yeah. I'm so glad we actually doubled down on this because that's questions I get from my clients who are new to my work. And I don't want to be aggressive, but it has nothing to do with being aggressive. And even emotional intelligence, someone asked me the other day, is that love strategy? Not at all. But that's where that's why we're new to the words and the language, right? And the work. So being powerful without showing up as being aggressive. And here's really interesting. I love to hear your perspective on this. People say they act on integrity. I'm get to be really naked for most of my life. I say integrity. I had no idea what it was. No idea. And was it truly acting from integrity? Like everything that I did, was that on integrity? Not everything. So when we go, and that's also maybe a belief I'm going to challenge right now, is that my true belief is, I believe that we have a work not to get money, but to serve other people. So when I go to work, and I always question that for most of my life, why should in Denmark we love sitting, having breakfast on Friday, but I don't go to work to enjoy breakfast. I go to work to create impact and contribute. Then to serve without being aggressive is to really remove ego. We all have ego. And be detached from the result. Be detached from being right. But going into this conversation and how can I serve? I don't mind if you say yes or you say no, as long as I serve. And we get to really feel let me find the right English words, and I don't want to come from brain right now, but we want to learn to be so comfortable in just asking the right questions, being so truly present. That's really powerful, rather than being authentic and integrity, rather than wanting to be right. I know this. You have two options, but I know this option is better. But if you as a CEO or SVP, whatever it is, go for option B, it's your choice. But I have served so powerfully as a coach, and it's your choice. And that's what we get to learn is
Mm,
that it's your choice. But I have served and I have done my best to serve you, to help you make the right decision.
mm,
I had to learn it the hard way, right? It's not easy. That's not what being taught. We've been taught to deliver
yeah,
results,
right.
but that's not really, in my perspective, why we have a good job or be great leaders. It's not to be right in there,
Mm.
but really to help get everybody's minds into a higher level where we see more possibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, I like what you said there that it isn't about like being right. Because I think, when you think about, I need to deliver results, I need to get the end result that, whatever it is that, the company goal is, and being right about how to get there. But you're right, it is really, it's more than that, like you mentioned around leadership, right? It's not just telling other people what to do. There has to be some sort of, collaboration, buy-in, because if people aren't understanding why they need to get to that endpoint, then they're not, they don't see the reason behind it. They're not motivated to take that journey, that path of change, right?
Mm.
Because change is scary for a lot of people. And when they're presented with, we need to make this change, how can you sort of be that leader and not necessarily be in the right, but get it right and get it right for others so that, the end result is positive and not just, demanding and all those things, right?
Yeah, I had a conversation, can't remember, it was last week. Doesn't really matter. But we discussed just this. And she presented a solution, and she was so disappointed that the solution was not supported. But
Mm,
what happens if we go in with just, I know this is the solution. What happens, we narrow our ideas and possibilities rather than going in to serve. Because when we come from an open mind and really ask bold questions,
mm,
that solution that we thought was solution is not the best solution. There's something better waiting. But if we're driving to just that one point, then we have a tunnel vision,
mm,
and that doesn't work if we want to create greater results, right?
right.
And
Yeah.
have more peace of mind. That's so it's really re-engineering how we lead and what does it really mean to lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that we mentioned just sort of around that tunnel vision, because when you go in with that one solution that you think is the right solution, but in every situation there are so many different possibilities of how to get to that endpoint. And it is a matter of like, taking the team as a collective, because like the mastermind of like getting everybody's ideas right and creating the best solution versus just I'm going in with the right solution. This is the only solution.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I help people with. And I've been there myself, right?
Mm,
Because we've been measured to come with the right solutions.
mm,
That's transactional leadership. But when we understand that being a leader, having a job, has nothing to do with the results that you suggest, but really going in and understand what is the real problem here,
mm.
then your solution is going to like 10x because
Yeah.
you don't know all the aspects that you haven't yet uncovered.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being able to take in those other perspectives of others, that their prior experiences, their life experiences, and all the things that when people do come together as a collective can share all of those pieces to identify, right, all those gaps or holes that might exist in the plan that you brought originally because you didn't think of every single possibility.
You can't.
Right.
And I just want to add that maybe you have another. I'm sure you have. I know you have a lot of questions here. I just want to share one thing, and I had to learn it from my mentors. So I believe this will serve at least one of your audience, if not more. Most people know what they don't want.
Mm,
Many people know what they want. but very few people know what they need.
Mm.
And our job as being great leaders is to help those we serve, help them understand and connect with what they really need. And that takes bravery. Right now I'm thinking about Brené Brown. It takes bravery, it takes curiosity to be in the room and ask those bold questions that nobody else dare to ask. And going back to looping back to like playing small, right? If we play small, we will never help them understand and uncover what they really need, because they don't know what they really need. Might be some risk or fears, which is why they stop before
Mm-hmm.
actually addressing this is what I really, really need. But it's also honesty. I'm so scared. I don't know how to get there. But I think this is what would really help us grow.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, absolutely. It is that there's definitely, with a lot of people that are playing small, there is a big fear of not, getting outside of that shell and being bold and being big, like you mentioned. And so I love that that's what you do, is sort of help these leaders get out of that discomfort, out of that fear, overcome that fear in order to become that great leader, being bold, not playing small. That just must be so empowering and so rewarding for you as a mentoring coach to help your clients sort of and see them get out of that shell and become that big, bold leader. I love that.
Yeah. And it takes practice, right? Every
Mm,
time I say to my clients, we get to grow, we can choose to grow 2% every single day. So do something for 20 minutes that moves your needle. And I applaud every time I do the same, right? When I go on podcast or whatever I do, put a video out, I also lean into a greater version of me. But that of really daring to be so fully present and ask questions and call out, I call it call out people we love, like when they say right now you're frustrated, what is really going on? It's like
mm,
when you dare to name that, it's like but that's actually how you feel, how you see other people, and that just because otherwise you would start to play small. Yeah, right. But we don't want to play small. So I celebrate everyone I hear. And whether it's my clients or ours, I celebrate every time we step up and stand
mm.
up for ourselves. Yeah.
Mm, I love that. Yeah, celebration is so important. I love that you bring that up because I think a lot of people don't realize, as they're going along and maybe doing some work to try to improve and get better as a leader, that they always, I mean, most people focus on the negative. Oh, I didn't quite do that. Oh, I think I should have done this. Oh, I didn't ask that question. But there is progress happening. And I love that you celebrate those small steps, those small progresses, because that really does keep people motivated to keep going. Like, I did actually do something, because they don't always recognize those small things, right?
No, exactly. Because I love that. Right? My body's so like, jump out of my chair and applause, because we get to celebrate where we went out of our comfort zone,
Mm,
whatever it was. Because that's where I said, okay, I did it. I broke free from the habit of being myself. I actually leaned in. And it takes courage, it takes bravery to get out of that comfort zone. And I actually call it, and some of my clients laugh and they smile when I call it the uncomfortable comfort zone.
mm.
Because it is. Can you relate to that?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It is. Yes. I mean, that's one of the things for a while there. I was like, I just want to be uncomfortable because I want to get used to being outside of that comfort zone. So I love that you call it the uncomfortable comfort zone, because it is. It's that little space that's just outside your comfort zone that is uncomfortable, but it's not super scary. But you know what? Like, as you get comfortable in that uncomfortable zone, your comfort zone gets bigger, right? And then you're expanding and growing, and it gets a little bit bigger, and then you've got a new uncomfortable comfort zone.
That's how we grow. right?
Yeah.
We can decide to choose whether we want to stay in that comfort zone. This is also uncomfortable, but we can then decide to choose to expand it. And that's expansion, the 2% compound that really works for everyone. Just do something for 20 minutes every single day that feels uncomfortable. We've got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about, who your clients are. Like who are these leaders that you're focused on working with? Because I mean, lots of different types of leaders out there. And I'm curious, because when we think about playing small, and maybe this is just in my mind, but I feel like there are probably more women in business that struggle with this concept. And so I don't know, do you serve like all leaders? Is there a specific niche that you serve?
I love that. Um, in terms of gender and playing small,
Mm,
men also play small.
mm,
They don't admit it so much. I think maybe it's just because who I am and they don't share it. But I also talk to CEOs who are men, and they also play small when it comes to their board of directors. So
mm,
I don't think there is a gender bias, but who I serve in my circles, there's mostly women. I serve also Gen Z. It's senior professionals. It's CAROs. Those right now in my messaging are women in HR. I
mm,
served operations. It doesn't really matter because it's human, and I'm here to help those who are ready and who resonates with my energy and my messaging to have find more fulfillment in life, to be happy in life. But what I see is that there's two camps. Those who are ready to grow, because that really is it is uncomfortable. It is vulnerable to look yourself in the mirror and say, do I, is that really the version I am right now? I don't
mm,
want to be that version. It's so vulnerable and it's so shameful and big to oneself. But so there's two camps: people who come in but think they, and I smile because it's either they're fixed minded or they're growth minded.
mm,
And those who are fixed minded and I cannot do that and it's not for me and it's not true, da 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 da, they invest a lot of money, but they don't grow as human beings and create more impact. Those who are ready to admit to themselves, actually, why do I blame other people? Why do I
mm,
get triggered? I want to heal. They just do quantum leaps week after
mm,
week after week. And I started to cast my net, working with those who are willing to grow, but also who challenge me, because I love to work with people who challenge me to tap deeper into my knowing, so I can help other people grow. So yeah, I think that comes by experience. Where do you thrive? And it's also get to be fun and easy and expanding at the same time. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's so rewarding to help, or just to observe sort of your clients over time, right? From where they started to where they end up. So rewarding and so just amazing to see, especially with those that you mentioned that do have that growth mindset, how quickly people can just change and shift and grow and get to those next levels and really like step into their power, and become, right, the people for you, the leaders, right, that you're seeing them become. How amazing is that?
It is. It
Yeah.
is. My body's responding now. I know often, but I always say when people are new, when I meet people on a discovery call, I trust you, and if you trust me back, trust is everything.
Mm.
You will get breakthroughs within 30 minutes. And sometimes they get breakthrough within 5 minutes. But trust is everything.
Yeah.
If I didn't trust you, I would come from head, right? And the conversation would be different. And when people
Mm-hmm.
join a discovery call and then say, I know everything. I don't really believe I can grow and become a better version of myself. Then it's almost impossible
Mm.
to guide them and get open the shell,
Yeah.
right? They
Yeah.
they become, because they protect themselves. So being
Mm.
a growth-minded person is, is that too big to claim, is everything? But at least I know to be true that I have this life to experience the highest version of happiness and joy.
Mm.
And if I don't, I'm practicing right now, Amanda, and my daughter. And I asked her this morning, what field are you tapping into? Right, there was no play dates, da 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 da. And by Regan Hiller, are you playing into that field that everything sucks? Right? Or what if you tapped into a field, or you just like plug in, like the light is on, the light is off, right? What if you plugged into another field where it's brighter light? How would those thoughts be? And exactly the same, if we want more light, not life, maybe more life, more happiness, we
Mm.
get to really play with, why do I tell myself those thoughts right now? Why do I plug into that field? I want to plug into this field where everything is better for me. It's
Mm-hmm.
just so rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you mentioned that and bring that up because it is a choice, right? I think oftentimes people don't know or don't think that it's a choice, right? Like they're looking at their external environment and they're like, this external stuff is what's causing me to feel this way. But really deep down inside, it is a choice that you make, what to feel. And so I love that you bring that up.
I had to learn it the hard way.
Mm.
That's why I say I can only take my clients. I had to learn it the hard way. Right? I was blaming my ex for all this and da 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 da. But it is our choice.
Mm.
It is our choice. And I had a conversation with a group not long ago, and we were talking about that brain. The brain kind of is a kind of a swamp. Hey, I think that it sucks all the negative thoughts into that bucket. So we get to train the brain or rewire the brain to really focus on what is also good. But it's
Hmm.
a choice. But it comes by practice. It's so
Yeah.
vulnerable to admit. It feels that way. But so true. And I'm glad you brought that up so we can inspire more people to really be focused about what have they subconsciously tuned their brain into, not their
Mm-hmm.
fault, the social construct, it constructed all what we see in the media, da 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 da. But we actually can rewire the brain. And may I just go one step further on this one?
Yeah.
Because this is so interesting. And the more I share that with people, like they immediately feel different. Yeah. So when the brain focus, focuses on negative energy, that negative thoughts, it, I use a big word right now, but it eats up the capacity in our body and our brain. And when I then experiment with people, say, think about something different, something that makes you happy in this. So you get more space, capacity in your brain and in your body. Oh, and I even now as I talk about, feel lighter. I feel bigger,
Mm.
like more space in my body. That's the difference between consuming negative thoughts and negative energy and tapping into the field of choosing to
Yeah.
feel happy and choosing also to look at what I do like in this room, not what I don't like in this room, right? It's so powerful. Yeah, so powerful. How
Yeah.
did that land?
Yeah, no, it absolutely. And it makes me think of like what you said earlier around celebrating, because that celebration of I did make some progress, I did take a step, I did ask a question, I did speak up. That celebration is that sort of that positive reinforcement, focusing on the positive things and not always stewing on sort of those negative, like, oh, but I might have done this, but I also didn't do this, right? And so focusing and keeping that focus on the positive is just it is so powerful, and it is a choice. So I'm glad that we had that conversation. Super great. I do want to start wrapping up. We've had an amazing conversation today. I've loved chatting with you. But before we wrap up, I just wanted to open it back up for you to share, any final words of wisdom, anything else that you'd like to share with our audience today.
Oh, thank you so much, Amanda. The final words of wisdom is reclaim power. Believe in yourself, and every morning wake up and tune into your soul and ask your soul, what is my soul needing, wanting today? And follow that. Oh, this is so deep. And follow the guidance from your soul. Because when you act from your soul, you act from your higher self.
Yeah. Love that. Thank you so much. Beautiful message. Thank you again. And thanks for being with me today. It was so fantastic.
Thanks for having me. I look forward to this conversation, but it was really powerful. Thank you.
I invite you to subscribe to the Embrace Balance, Discover Joy podcast and join our community. If you feel inspired by what you hear, please leave a review and share this podcast with others who might benefit. And remember, it's never too late to embrace balance and discover joy in your life. Stay tuned for our upcoming episodes filled with inspiring stories and valuable insights. Until next time, take care and be kind to yourself.